All right. So, as I said, now I'm going to talk about the question, isn't that attention engineering, that way of changing our patterns of attention, isn't there something problematic about that? Now, this is what's central to Williams's book, Stand Out of Our Light, that's central to this research project that I mentioned at the beginning. But of course, we're not the only ones who have talked about this. Okay. But there are different kinds of critiques. So one of them is described in this really quite nice book by Matthew Crawford, The World Beyond Our Head. So he there describes also this age of distraction, where we're distracted by various things, and he thinks that that's an expression really of a mistaken conception of ourselves. It's like a loss of contact to our environment, to our bodies, and so he has he describes this as what problematic about it is that it's sort of like it makes us into problematic kind of self and could be a different self. So he suggests, we should do work with the bodies, woodworking. And of course, lots of people are, they're doing that. They now these days it's like very fashionable to, do woodworking, build your own shelves and, knit and do those things. That's valuable. I mean, if you go to my basement, you will see the woodworking tools. I'm doing it. So knitting, woodworking, I think is all important. So that's one kind of critique you find in Matthew Crawford. So that's very deep, as it were. It goes through who are we as people. A different critique is a lot more less deep. It just thinks, well, if you want to get things done, then being distracted by the wrong advertisement, having your attention be misled, not to things that you want to pay attention to, that get you to do things that you want to do, like, finish a paper, instead of browsing through Instagram, you don't get the paper done, you get a bad grade. That's a problem. And so a lot of self-help books will tell you, how to find focus in an age of distraction in order to get things done. So like in this book, there's lots of other books there too. That's of course this idea also that you find a digital detox proposal, digital detox, get rid of all these devices, go to the mountains, leave the phone at home. So that's in order to regain your ability to focus and get things done. Lots of managers do that. Okay. So I think they have an important value, these two approaches. But I think that in a certain sense, the one goes too deep. That is, it has really what is the human, who are we? And the other one is too superficial and just about getting things done. What I'm interested in is something a little bit different, and that's a moral kind of critique. I'm interested in whether we have a right, and Williams is interested in that too. Can we articulate a moral argument, an ethical argument about what is wrong about that? Is there something that we can demand these companies to change? Now, this idea that there's something wrong is also a part of this movement to mindfulness. So since that's become so important, I want to talk a little bit about that. Okay. Meditation mindfulness is everywhere in Norway, also it's in schools and so on and so forth. Everywhere, mindfulness training. So that's one way of looking at that. That mindfulness is described often as paying attention to the present moment with intention, letting go of judgment. So the particular way of attending, and is that going to be what helps us deal with this problem of the attention emergence? So I'll have a video about that. So if you watch this,